boys and girls of the FLAFT! See, we'll do something in the middle. Today is the day! I know you've all been waiting for it, and now it's time! We're gonna be covering everything you need to know about the Titans! Starting with the Desert Titan! And starting with taming! So, how do you tame you dragon punk leviathan? They totally stole that, by the way. Well, to begin your journey, you'll have to start with the stupidly conspicuous cave in the desert biome. You literally cannot miss this thing. I remember when the caves used to be all hidden and secretive, but not anymore with Extinction. So you're gonna need to complete this cave run, which shouldn't actually be too difficult, especially with a few good velonasaurs at your disposal. Check out that video if you haven't already. It's an important one. The cave is pretty small and pretty simple to navigate. Conveniently, the artifact you need to spawn the Desert Titan is right next to the summoning terminal as well. You can also scoop up another explorer note in this corner while you're at it too. Very nice. To summon the Desert Titan, you'll need the artifact, 100 corrupted hearts, 10 fire talons, and 10 sarco skins. Once you got the goods, go ahead and summon the big boy. So now you're gonna be teleported back up to the surface, and there it'll be before you in the sky in all of its resplendence. The Great Desert Titan! So how do you go about the process? How do you even begin to tame this thing? Well, you're gonna wanna start with a team of people on high level RGs or Quetzals, but RGs seem to be easier. What you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna make sure that you have these RGs with lots and lots of HP, a good amount of melee, and some extra points into stam, along with some high quality saddles. That way they can tank a lot of damage. What you're gonna do is you're gonna fly up to the Desert Titan, and you're gonna notice 3 corrupted spots on its body. One on the left wing, one on the right wing, and one on the tail. Now, you have to go for the wings before you can go for the tail. Now, you can't just go in and start attacking these corrupted spots. You need to expose the corrupted nodes first. And the way you do that is you're gonna notice a little indicator occasionally, which is saying, hey, you're being targeted by lightning. And what you do is you simply hover over one of the corrupted node areas and you let the Desert Titan target itself. It zaps itself with lightning and the node is exposed. Now you can go in, go ham, and destroy that node. Quick aside, be very careful not to do damage to the Titan, or do as little damage as possible to the Titan, because if you do too much damage to the Titan, then it will affect the quality of your tame. This is pretty easy to do, I'll tell you what. It's really hard to screw it up that bad that you get a really low quality tame. So just keep this in mind, be careful, and don't worry about it too much. Go for the 2 wings, then go for the tail. This is where it gets kind of frustrating because you're gonna keep getting knocked off by it either doing barrel rolls or slapping you with its tail, but not too hard, pretty manageable. And once you have all 3 of the corrupted nodes destroyed, congratulations! You have tamed the Desert Titan. It wasn't even that difficult. So about the quality of your tame. When you summoned the Desert Titan, you would have noticed that there's no alpha, beta, or gamma variant. It's just the Desert Titan. But when you tame the Desert Titan, you'll get one of 3 variants, alpha, beta, or gamma, depending on how much damage you did. Really, there's only 2 different types of Titan that you can tame, alpha or beta. And the only difference between the different tames is literally just how much your maximum HP is, which is a lot. The alpha variant has a maximum amount of HP of 550,000 HP, and the beta and gamma have a maximum of 280,000 HP, which you're never gonna get that much HP anyway, so it doesn't really matter, but just keep that in mind. This doesn't affect anything other than the HP. We tested it. So, you've done it! You've tamed one of Ark's most powerful creatures ever! Now what? Well, you don't need a salad because you get that automatically. Nice. So what can it do? Well, the Desert Titan has 3 attacks. A left-click bite, which can also be used as a tail whip to knock enemies off your back. A right-click lightning summoning attack, very cool. And if you press space, you can summon the flock. Pressing C allows you to target the flock with left and right mouse buttons to direct the left and right flocks respectively. Now for the fun part. What kind of carnage can this thing unleash onto the poor wimpy boys who are busy transferring all their dinos and clearing out of the server right about now? Well, we went ahead and tested this thing's raid capabilities on our server, which you can join. Click the link in the description and comments. Starting with the bite attack, this does a colossal 4,650 damage per bite, and it has a gigantic AoE, instantly clearing dozens of enemies. Then we've got the lightning strike, which was recently nerfed through the ground. This attack is really slow and easily avoidable, but could be useful for mass murder of enemy dinos or for dealing some decent damage to slow moving targets. You can hold right mouse button to select a point for your lightning strike, or you can paint a target by just holding right mouse button and hovering your selector over them till you see a sort of aura of lightning around them. Your lightning strike will now track your moving target till it stops tracking them and they just move out of the way. If your lightning hits, it'll do an okay amount of damage of 500 hit points. A lightning strike will also leave behind a radius of electrified earth, which deals low damage rapidly to moving targets, which can be countered by simply not moving. Otherwise, the sizzle effect can do some pretty solid damage if your target is stupid enough to not move out of the way. This doesn't damage structures, and by the way, it takes 8 seconds for a lightning charge to charge. You can have a total of 6 lightning strikes at a time. The flock. Probably one of the most useful tools in your kit. You can summon it and then just sit back and enjoy watching the death messages. These guys shred through everything. They do a very nice 1,162 damage per hit, and you have 2 of them. If you want to deal rapid damage to a target and really focus them, just hit C and target your enemy with both flocks. Now, the flock can be killed, but they can also be respawned in a fairly short amount of time by pressing space again. Otherwise, you could totally just sit outside of someone's base in safety and let the flock wreak havoc on the dummies below. In fact, this might be your best option, as you'll find out. Finally, we have the Titan's most dangerous attack of all, the Tail Whip! Just kidding, it's terrible and the devs need to fix it immediately. Like, who seriously tested this and said, yep, it just phases through your enemy even though it clearly is hitting them? Ship it! Ah, wildcard, of course. Now this attack is supposed to knock baddies off your back. It's completely unreliable and doesn't work 99.9% of the time. Interestingly enough, the tail will hit you if you're not on the platform, but on the Titan's bare back. So basically the tail attack hits its bare back, just like a wild Titan, but is incapable of hitting things on the platform. It just phases through and hits where no one is standing. So basically you'll need to pray no one lands on your back and that the flock can protect you. Let's revisit the bite real quick. If you want to shred through people's bases, this is the way to do it. The bite does an insane amount of damage to stone, 5,355 per bite. Very solid damage to metal, 2,625. Wonderful, amazing. Again, the AoE is massive. So after a few bites, you'll basically wind up dismantling half of an enemy's base. Obviously, you have to be careful though, because you're totally exposed in the front of the Titan in the cockpit. Be sure to have backup pilots and extra beds for when you surely get picked up or shot out. So what if you're on the receiving end of all this? How can you possibly hope to beat this god of the sky? Well, actually quite easily, sort of. You have 2 options for really ruining this guy's day. Option 1, use a Managnaner. It's so fast, he's just not fast enough to take you out. Just boost on and through him and do big damage. Because he can't protect his back, just sit on his back and go ham. It's extremely frustrating being the one piloting this thing when someone's on your back. Another option is to use Quetzals carrying some nasty high-level melee velonasaurs and just shoot at him from a distance. Or land on his back and literally just hold right mouse button to kill the enemy desert titan in seconds. Literally. It's kind of absurd how powerful the velonasaur is. Check out that video. If it hasn't been made obvious yet, the counter to titans is tech and tech-augmented creatures. It's gonna be so important that whoever is using the desert titan carefully considers how they're gonna protect their behind, because they can't do anything if someone's on their back, because the tail whip doesn't work. These same ideas will also work against a wild desert titan too, with a twist. The wild desert titan can actually knock you off its back by either doing a barrel roll or hitting you with its tail. So consider that when you're going in. You're gonna get knocked off. Probably stick to using Menagoners and velonasaurs on the back of Quetzals to snipe at it. Easy peasy. Once you kill you a desert titan, you'll get quite a nice reward. In fact, you could totally just farm these things. It's not hard. Finally, a few extra tips and details. The desert titan also works underwater and actually grants the pilot unlimited oxygen. This will be great for the eventual water expansion map. You only get to keep your titan for 1 day, which sucks because that's a massive nerf. On launch, it was 5 days. So I kinda think they jumped the gun on that, considering this thing isn't hard to beat. You only get 1 hour after taming to heal, which also sucks. Then after that, your titan will no longer be able to heal itself, but check this out. You can increase your maximum health by using a pig. Very cool. So what you're gonna wanna do with that is get a pig, just slap that on top of the desert titan, and just let it sit and heal for the hour that you have to get it as high as you possibly can. And that is everything you need to know about the desert titan. Actually, there's more I would have liked to cover, but for the sake of not making this video unbelievably long, I'm gonna have to cut it a little bit short. Let me know if you want me to make like a follow-up or something. But wow, oh wow, that one was a total doozy to do all of the testing and everything. I have never dealt with a creature this crazy, and I did not realize how much there would be to this. If you're new here, or even if you're not new here, click that notification bell. That way you don't miss the next videos on the Titans. You're gonna wanna stick around. Make sure you join our Discord, and I will see you in the next video.